so far. Is that the natural progression? Is that what we should be able to look forward to?
Yeah, I think that we just have a lot more installed now that I think this is our seventh, maybe, OTA. So just a lot more offenses in. We've gotten through most of the installs, and now it's um, kind of refining those and finding the plays that seem to work in the first few OTAs and just getting more reps at them. So we're a little more comfortable with the offense, I think, and finding those plays that we like against our defense.
You had that great big play down the middle to Jimmy Graham. How does that feel to get something like that off and running early now in the offseason?
Yeah, it's important for both of us. Coming off of last season, it's important to get him going and feeling comfortable in the offense. And I think this offense sets up really good for him. It gives him opportunities to win with his routes, and then situations like that to win with his athletic ability and his speed. And he has a tremendous catch radius, which you saw in that play because the ball was pretty inside. He made a great catch on it.
How much of the chemistry, Aaron, with you and Jimmy carries over from last year? Or how are there limitations just because you're both learning a new offense?
Well, I think the key is communication, and we're close friends off the field. Actually, if you heard any noises yesterday, I was riding with him in his Huey. So we spend a lot of time together. We're always communicating and texting, and that goes with the plays as well. Taking clips off the iPad and sending them over, just talking through routes or stems or timing and stuff all the time. He's an extremely intelligent player, so he gets it the first time you hear it, and I think. With less thinking comes more of a comfort on the field, and we both got to get to that point. And when we do, I think we're going to be really effective.
So how challenging is it to communicate with your head coach on the field when you got to find a goal?
No, it's easy to find, especially now he's got the souped-up one. He had a little dumpy one when you guys weren't out there, yesterday. So he knows he knew you guys were coming today, and he had to bring it. I can't say if that was his or not, or if they used company funds to pay for that, but he's definitely looking better in that thing.
Do you prefer LaFleur on a scooter, though, or in the golf cart?
No, scooter's dangerous. I think you guys missed it. He actually had a little tumble on the scooter, so he's being a lot more safe. I actually have a script here I was supposed to read about him because Jimmy kind of ripped him about his athletic ability, but I want to say that Matt LaFleur is a highly athletic former athlete who had an unfortunate accident in the gym, but because of his exceptional diet and work ethic, he'll be back sooner rather than later.
You wrote that?
What?
You wrote that statement?
No, that's just Tom gave me that.
When was the last time you played any basketball or did any basketball-related activities on a basketball court?
Well, we like to do a little shooting game, but it's stationary, like three-pointers over the years we've done. I actually have a hoop at the house, so the guys come over sometimes. We play a game called Seven. It's a three-point shooting competition. So there's not a lot of movement in that. It's just how good can you shoot from beyond the arc.
Some, like Devontae still plays, though, right? Like some guys.
Yeah, I think basketball should be left to the supreme athletes.
You don't think it's...
Does it complicate anything, though, having him immobile to get what needs to be done? Or
All I know is he got surgery on Sunday, and he was in the meeting on Monday. So he's been around. It hadn't changed anything. Probably a little more frustrating for him, but he's been on the headset calling plays in. Not today, but he was doing it a lot yesterday. But no, he's in all the conversations. It's not going to change anything. And like I said, I think his superior diet and attention to his body is going to allow him to get back a lot quicker than most guys his age.
I'm sure it wasn't new news to you, but Jordy Nelson saying on local television that he'll sign in August and retire a Packer. What does that mean to you? And you have that special relationship with him.
I did see that. I got excited when I heard sign, but then I saw sign for one day. Again, if it took a call to bring him back, I called him on his birthday a couple days ago. So I talk to him all the time. I loved playing with him. Like a gentleman standing in the circle, there's a few guys over the years who've really, you've gotten close to and love playing with, and Jordy's one of those guys, consummate professional, one of the greatest wide receivers in Packer history, and that's a long and illustrious history. I don't think retirement is a word that's in his vocabulary, though. Yeah, he has thousands of acres back in Kansas to tend to, and and 3 kids. So it'll be fun to get him back up here and like we do, to continue to honor the former players in a way that's deserving of their time that they spent here.
He said his body wouldn't allow him to play again. Do you believe that?
Jordy's got that farmer strength and shape. You'd ask him sometimes, what he did during the break in the summer, and he said farm, just run and farm. That's all it took for him to get in shape. So, I think if he ran around a little bit instead of sitting in that cushy GPS driven, machine he's got there when he's out in the fields, he could probably be ready. But like you said, it's tough with 3 little kids, moving them again. And I think we're going to do the right thing, bringing him back this way. He'll be a Packer Hall of Famer and be, remembered as one of the greats.
Speaking of former players, we got your reaction to Bart Starr's passing. How do you process his impact on your life?
Yeah, that was tough. I've been close with Bart for a number of years now. I met him back in 2006 at FanFest, actually, and remember the feeling of excitement meeting him. I used to watch him on an old VHS, which some people in this circle probably don't know what that is, but used to watch highlights of him, from the first couple Super Bowls and knowing the stories. And then, like I said previously, the beauty in this organization is how we bring and keep our guys in the fold, and getting to know him and Max McGee and Paul and Jerry and Fuzzy and the greats, Willie Davis, over the years has been a blast. And he lived a fantastic life. He impacted so many people. He did so much for people that you probably will never know about. But I think he taught a lot of us great lessons about what it means to be a Packer. And I got to spend time with Cherry and some of the close family and friends at a private service last week, actually. Favre was also out there. So it was good to see Brett and Cherry, and Brett and I got to speak a little bit at that service.
Aaron did some of there's been a lot made of your chugging attempts at the Bucs game. Would you like to defend yourself at all, considering all the other guys have now stepped up and tried doing theirs as well?
Well, I think we got the desired effect, exactly how Dave wanted it, just more attention for him. And the big guys, they don't get a lot of credit from time to time. And there's some abilities, innate abilities that people just have. And he's got it, and I'm really proud of him. I kind of said what I said. If you want to go Scotch, I feel pretty good about it. As far as those other guys, for some of them, there's finally a talent where they can say they're better than me at.
Do you believe that George Hill could beat David in chugging? Because he said he's better than him.
I think we need to be smart about the example we're setting for kids. There's a lot of kids watching. If we're going to start highlighting and glorifying binge drinking, we need to be very careful about that slippery slope.
Aaron, I know you guys are learning a new offense, but can you give us any sense of what you've seen from Mike Pettine's defense kind of in this year 1 to year 2 thing?
Yeah, they're a lot more comfortable, and their disguise has gotten better. They have a great quarterback of the defense in Blake Martinez. I mean, he really looks comfortable directing the whole thing. And now you kind of put it all together with all 3 levels, really having a lot of depth and talent. I think OB has stepped up and done a nice job, kind of taking his opportunity there at inside backer. They brought in a couple studs on the outside who look really good, and then the young kid, Gary, is explosive as well. And on the back end, you're just seeing, Jair just very comfortable as a second-year player. Tremont is the consummate professional. And you're seeing a lot more depth behind those guys. And the young kid, Savage, at safety, has done a nice job. And Adrian, obviously, is a professional. He knows what he's doing out there in the back end. So you're just seeing, I think, a comfort with those guys being able to react a little bit more than so much thinking as maybe there was a little more thinking last year.
It's early, but what have you seen from Elton Jenkins on the line so far?
Yeah, he's been in there with us a good amount. I'll be honest, I haven't watched a lot of the offensive line film, and I think it's important that all of us, myself and you all as well, kind of temper first impressions, because for the line especially, it's a disadvantage for the offensive line without pads on. There's nothing to hold on to. There's a lot more. The guys can get in your chest and bull rush you. It's different with pads on. It changes the whole dynamic up front. You're able to move guys a little more. You're able to grab on to something as an offensive lineman. So I think we need to just temper expectations and first impressions at the moment. But obviously he looks the part. He's a big, athletic, strong kid. Seems to be picking it up pretty well.
Aaron, I know you've talked for years about you throw the open guy. Is it healthy to have Devontae, as good as he is, have 170 targets, whatever it was, and the next closest guy was, basically half that? Is that a good way to run an offense, do you think, or do you need to, or do the other guys need to step it up so you can spread the ball around more?
I'd like to throw to Devontae more. I mean, he's that open. We got to keep finding ways to get him the ball. I think there's nothing wrong with having a go-to guy who's that dynamic and trying to find ways to get him the ball. I think obviously we need complementary pieces in place. I think Marquez has had a fantastic spring and really stepped up as a guy who can be an every down player. And then I expect a big bounce back year from Jimmy. He's healthy, he's feeling good. This offense, I think, fits him and his body type. But I'm not going to shy away from throwing the ball to Devontae.
Aaron, James Crawford had the defensive highlight of the day with the pick six. I saw some jawing going on after the play. What was that all about?
Captain Blood, a.k.a. Matt LaFleur. If you know Mighty Ducks, you understand that reference. He was threatening practice tomorrow should we not, the offense not play better than we did yesterday. We had a rough day. Thankfully, you guys weren't there. So I was trying to tell the defense, if you guys let us get this one today, we can have a nice phase one day tomorrow instead of a practice. So I was just telling James and the defense they were violating the terms of our agreement and that we'd probably have to practice tomorrow.
Aaron, Matt's got, in some of the drills we've seen, when you guys go 11 on 11, he's actually got two groups going. You were a young player once. What would that, I think Joe Philbin did it in Miami too, what would that have done for you? And what do you think that's doing for the guys that don't get as many reps on the list?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely gives them a lot of reps. For me, it was always about taking the mental rep when I wasn't in. So I like it. I think it's good. You can marry up concepts, and for those groups, you can, if one group did it better than the other, you can kind of watch what it's supposed to look like compared to maybe what it looked like on the other side. But it's really good for a guy like Manny, who's not slated in a normal practice structure where you're kind of going maybe 3-3-3, 1s, 2s, 3s to get any reps. And now he goes over there and he gets a decent amount of reps. So I think it's important for those guys and really the young guys to kind of be able to watch their own film and then see what the first group is going.
Two more.
You talked about Jimmy a minute ago. How much do you think your injury last year impacted your guys' chemistry? Or if at all, maybe didn't. I was kind of curious.
Yeah, I don't know how much it impacted us. I just think that, the league's about matchups, and I think that's what I'm liking about this offense is we're constantly trying to find ways to get those guys in positive matchups. Every play has, whether it's a scheme or a motion or an adjustment that can kind of get those guys in opportunities to be number one or two in the progression. Because we know that, if you're throwing the ball on time, that's where the ball's going to go. So just more opportunities, I think, for Jimmy. And some of the stuff that we're doing gives him opportunities to get the ball in rhythm instead of relying on off schedule or a third or fourth read on a play.
The Blue Bombers are announcing a game in Winnipeg for you guys. I know you love those preseason games, number one. What do you think about a preseason game in Canada for a team like this?
I'm excited about it. I have not been to Winnipeg before, but I am a fan of the CFL because a former teammate of ours, Mike Riley, has long dominated the CFL. Now he just switched teams. He was in Edmonton for a long time. But, I'm excited to get up there. It's fun to travel with the squad, to a different country. We still haven't been to England yet, but hopefully this doesn't count as our out of the country trip because I think a lot of us would still like to go to England, but it's fun. The popularity of the NFL is worldwide, and I was in Paris this off season and went to a Packer bar. So that just kind of shows you the reach of the NFL, and the CFL is a great league, and a lot of great players have played there over the years. Some guys have actually, obviously played in the NFL. Some guys have gone back and forth. So they've done a great job, but it'll be fun to be up there, and I'm sure there's a bunch of Packer fans up there because they're everywhere.
Aaron, when you went to the Super Bowl, I covered when Bart accepted for you the Aaron Brown Award, and afterwards we talked to him for a long time, and he was generally familiar with your game. Could you talk about how he kept that after that initial meeting? how he kept in touch with you and some of the things that he said that meant the most to you.
Well, he said, one of the first times we met, he said that playing quarterback in Green Bay is about more than just winning championships, because he was trying to say that there's a way to carry yourself, there's a way to get involved in the community, there's an expectation of class, and there's nobody better who exemplified that than Bart, true gentleman. But over the years, him and Cherry would write me letters. Nobody really writes handwritten letters anymore, but I got a bunch of them, and so did Brett. As we were sharing stories at the service, he actually shared a letter that Bart had written to him about the way he was wearing his hat one time, which is pretty funny. But Bart was just a great man, great husband, great father. Endured some tragedy in his own life and some ups and downs, and always kept a great attitude. And like I said, he handled himself with a lot of integrity and class. And it was, we had a great relationship. Then obviously he had the strokes. And the thing that I go back to is how important it was for him to get back in 15 to that game when they were retiring Favre's number, just how much that meant to him. And if you guys had known how much he was struggling to even move or speak or get around, it just makes that feat even that more amazing.